Hello and welcome back to the NBA DFS Slate Breakdown for Monday, November 13th. We are back. We're going to be breaking down this slate. But before we get into it, look, there's a few ways to come join us at LionStar. There is $39.99 per month. You could sign up that way or do the yearly, or you could go through a free 3-day trial through the App Store, either Android or Apple App Store. You can get it as long as you have not been a LionStar sub already or have not tried us through a different means already. So, it is just for new people. Now, another way, you can click one of those links below through one of our affiliate offers through Thrive, Sleeper, Underdog, or Chalkboard. Deposit $10 to $25. You get a $100 match when you deposit there, and you get 1 month free of LionStar. Now let's get it. Let's get into this slate. All right, so we do have one thing to go over first. The Sacramento game, De'Aaron Fox started the day as doubtful, but then he went through shoot-around and was a full participant, and now he could make his return. So not totally sure on that, but that is the big news to watch throughout the day, as that one will change the slate hugely. The other news, Toronto has a couple guys that are questionable, being Gary Trent and why can't I think of the other guy right now? I think it's OG. Let's check real quick. OG Anunoby. So both those guys are questionable. Those are the big news stories you need to watch. There's a ton of different news stuff, but those are the major ones. Now, let's get in a little bit position by position here. So we got FanDuel. 3 highest owned are Ayo, Garland, and Holiday, all of which are fine. Don't hate any of the plays. Just don't love them. I think Ayo is somebody that I'm going to be getting to. He finally played 27 minutes. Now, the issue with him is that going to stay? And is it only because Caruso was out? Caruso is doubtful and probably going to be out again. But it's something to watch. So Ayo, I think, is interesting, but just it being one game is a little worrisome for me at 33% owned. However, I do like him, and there's reason for him there. Draftkings is where I have liked all the players, and we'll go over ownership here now. We got Garland, Monk, Mitchell. All are fine. I don't like Monk. I do think his price is just a little bit too high, and we just don't have a ceiling at that price. Now, I like Scotty Barnes, Jordan Poole, Drew Holiday, and Schroeder. I think all of them are in play, and all of them are interesting. Toronto has the biggest pace up spot, so they are absolutely in consideration versus a poor Washington team. It's the highest game total on the night. Well, actually, it's second highest. Milwaukee and Chicago is the highest by 0.5. But I think it's a very, very interesting spot. And if there is a blowout, I would say it's not likely until late in the game. So Toronto, Barnes, and Schroeder in play. Poole, if the game stays close, it's likely to be because either Poole or Kuzma went off, and I do like both of them. If their shot is falling, they can really score some points. And Drew, look, you're getting a guy that has a 50-point upside at 6,900. Just that ceiling is way too high to pass up. Now, is it likely? There's a lot of places to go with that ball in Boston, but the ceiling is absolutely there, and it's interesting. Now, if we go over to shooting guard, highest owned, Ayo, Monk, and Mitchell. All of them are fine. Like I said, I don't love Monk. Mitchell, look, he has the ceiling. It's just that Garland is back, and that ceiling is a lot harder to get with Garland there. As you can see, last couple games were nothing like his first few. Levine is okay. I just don't love it. But people have been scoring against this Bucks team. Look, 112, 126, 118, 125, 105, 130. And with that, I think you have to at least have some interest in the Bulls, because there is a chance this game could be, 120 to 115 or something like that. And if the Bulls are putting up 115 and it's late into the fourth, you're going to probably want some of them. Max Strus is somebody we haven't covered yet. I think he is interesting for his price point. Mid-30s are definitely in play in this situation. He's low owned, and there is a ceiling here if that shot is falling. Now, FanDuel high owned for shooting guard Ellis. That's not likely to stay that high owned. It is likely because Fox, we have not heard yet. Io, we've talked about. Monk is fine. I just don't like it. I see the past the Monk. The thing with Monk, he doesn't change too much between if Fox is there or not. He needs to run into minutes, and he does that by playing well. When he does play well, he can get up to 30. When he's not doing anything special, he's in the 22 to 24, 26 range. All right. And then on to small forwards. So we got Denny, DeRozan, and Craig being the three highest owned. I like all of them. I think they're all interesting. And on FanDuel, I think Bilal is super interesting at 4K. We will talk about him more on Draftkings. He is, one of the higher small forwards on Draftkings, and that is my issue with him there. And we can talk about this on both sides now. So when he's a little lower owned, I think he's very interesting because he can get up to, 30 minutes coming off the bench. There is some upside there, but his minutes are all over the place. He can very well play 20 or he can very well play 30. And the projection for him is obviously totally different if he's playing, 50% more minutes. So when he is high owned, I'm more likely to be like, okay, maybe he only plays 25 like we have projected. If he's low owned, maybe I'm more likely to say he's going to play 28. And at 28, his projection is going to be high enough to play. So I think that's a decision you need to make for yourself, depending on ownership, depending on what site you're playing on. But I think he's interesting, and there's a path to him running into more minutes, especially coming off a game where he just put up 42 fantasy points and 20 real points. So I think he's of interest. DeMar's fine. Ayo's fine. Scotty Barnes I like a lot, as we talked about. Strus and Denny Avdija. I don't know how to pronounce his name. I'm not going to try. But mid-30s is a very real possibility for him at low ownership. I think it's interesting. I just don't absolutely love it due to the fact that, even if he hits 40, which mid-40s is probably his ceiling, he's not like breaking the slate, but he's interesting. And at high ownership, I'm not loving it that much just due to the fact that there's not much more ceiling left on the table after 6,300. And power forward, highest owned, Siakam, Craig, Mobley. You could put Randall in there too. They're all fine. My issue with Craig is ceiling. Look, he's playing high 20s in minutes, maybe 30 sometimes. Solid defensive player, not going to do much scoring wise. But with all that, he just doesn't have that much of a ceiling, and that's my worry for him. If he's chalky without a ceiling, just kind of like, why go there? There's probably somewhere else we can find some value. Siakam, dude is very good at basketball, has a nice ceiling for his price. My one thing is, with Barnes handling the ball so much and him at power forward. He just doesn't have the ceiling that he did last season when he played center a lot. So that is my issue with him. Price is fine. Ownership is a little high, but I wouldn't avoid it due to ownership. Mobley, 7,400. He's okay. His price came down. He is not in the center spot anymore. He is at power forward. Hasn't done much versus them in the past. Last year, 25 and 31 points, playing a lot of minutes. So I don't love his outlook, but I get why people are going there at least. I just don't like it. Randall is fine. I really do like DeRozan. I think that price is just way too low. And we have a nice ceiling in a game of which the Bucks have been letting people score. So I am interested. And last year, DeRozan had a couple of his best games of the season, which they won 2 of the 4 games. So I think it's an interesting matchup. They can hang for a while with the Bucks, and the Bucks have been letting people score. Kristaps, it's the Boston situation. Huge ceiling for the price. It's just, can we see that ceiling? And do they just blow out the Knicks? Absolutely possible. The Knicks were able to hang in there, though, the first game of the season, and Porzingis was able to play a season-high 38 minutes. So I think that if the game is close, he's going to see a lot of minutes, and in that case, we can see a ceiling. The problem, this could definitely be a blowout, and at home in Boston, they could just crush the Knicks, and he plays 26, 28 minutes and has a decent game, just doesn't fully get there. So those are the kind of sides that I am looking at. I think Kuzma is absolutely in play. As I said with Jordan Poole, one of these guys has got to be making shots for them to stay in this game, and Kuzma has a very good chance of being that guy. FanDuel ownership, we got Siakam, Denny, and Mobley. We have gone over all of them. Don't love Denny at high ownership, but he's a worthy play. His price is cheaper on FanDuel at least. I'm not getting into many of the high-owned or expensive guys on this slate. The reason being is simply I just don't really love the value today. One of the value pieces that I do like that we have not talked about yet is Precious Achiuwa. He's a guy that can play 18 to 24 minutes and put up, close to a fantasy point per minute. If he gets a little extra run, and in these 4-game slates, we got to do the ifs and when type thing. So if he plays a little bit more, there's a real path to him succeeding in this matchup. All right, now center spot, we got Mobley, Allen, Hodel as the 3 highest owned. I don't love them. They're all in play. I think what I'm going to be doing in the center spot, though, is going with some other guys, being Kristaps, Nikola, or Sabonis. Nikola Vucevic, that is. I think that going that way with a little bit more security and higher ceiling is the way to really get different on this slate. They're all lower owned, and on this slate, I think it is more beneficial for us to do medium priced guys and go more of a balanced type lineup than such a boom bust, because really there's just not that much good value on this slate, and that is the way that I'm going to be attacking the slate. Now, good luck to you guys. I hope you have great luck tonight and figure out how to win on your own. Pay attention to that news as always, as it's huge for NBA DFS. All right, guys, have a good one. Bye.